All right, hey everyone. Welcome to another episode of Trading Bitcoin with your host, Tone Vays, coming to you before 10 a.m. Eastern time today, so we can see if that 10 a.m. reversal that I like to talk about will be at play as we look at the markets. Been watching them this morning, and the correlation between the stock market and Bitcoin is just unreal. It doesn't even matter which chart you're looking at. It's becoming like difficult to even tell which one. Here is the S&P 500 index, and here it is in the futures market in the pre-market. And right here at the 9:10 a.m. candle, you see the potential reversal. And this is where my exhaustion point is for a potential buying opportunity, even though I don't like to trade in after hours or pre-market hours trading. But you can see how the S&P 500 bounced at exactly 9:20 a.m. and started to rise and went up and rose pretty significantly, actually, into market open. So right here, from the opening of that candle, we went up 0.5%, 16 points on the S&P in 25 minutes. That is very, very impressive. And now if you go over to Bitcoin, same 10-minute chart right here. Is anyone surprised that at exactly 9:20, Bitcoin pumps for approximately 20 minutes, and it goes up 0.82%, so almost the same amount even. S&P went up 0.55, and Bitcoin went up 0.82. Started literally to the same minute, right there with this candle. Also on the same arrow indicating a potential buy. So it's crazy. It's completely crazy after a beautiful sell right here, which came after a beautiful buy right here. So like, what is the point of even watching the price of Bitcoin? You should be watching the price of the S&P 500, because if the S&P 500 is going down like it has the last 15 minutes, what do you think Bitcoin is actually doing? Well, by no surprise, Bitcoin has been going down for at least the last, the high came in a little bit earlier. So it's all about the markets, guys. I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you that Bitcoin is leading stocks. It's the other way around. The stocks are leading Bitcoin because that's just a bigger market. I just can't see it working the other way. I can't make the argument that Bitcoin is driving the stock market. Though, in a very interesting way, if we drop this down to the 1-minute candles, I should probably put them side by side. So if I do 1-minute candles on Bitcoin, let's try side by side. We're going to do this. And we're going to make that chart, this chart. What is that? SPX 500 USD. When it loads. So over here on the right side, let's drop that. We're going to do SPX 500 USD. And now we can compare it minute by minute and see what's going on. Starting with those lows at 9:20. So this goes to approximately just before 10 a.m. There we go. And we can slide this over. So you can see on the 1-minute chart, wow, look at that. Perfect 9 right there on a 1-minute chart. Perfect buying opportunity. When did that come? This came, well, the low came in at 913. The buying opportunity off momentum came at 914. Let's look at the S&P. The S&P had a bottom right here at 912, 1 minute earlier. It had a secondary low right here, almost an identical low at 919. Now by 919, Bitcoin was already up. The stocks reversed right here. And then this may or may not be a lower low by a tick. Bitcoin was already rising. They both bottom. My mouse just died. No. They were both already started rising. And then they both took off. Right from this area here, 919, 920, 1 minute later. And the S&P took off. The S&P gave you a sell opportunity at 9:36 a.m. This is 9:28 when Bitcoin did it. That is probably this is the 9:34 candle. Bitcoin continued to rise a little bit more. Bitcoin puts in a top at 9:39. This is the 9:39 top on the S&P. S&P dips, has one more quick rally, and then drops. Bitcoin had that quick rally, but it did not go to new highs. However, Bitcoin closed at a new 1 minute top at 948. I care more about the close than I do about the wick. So right here is the actual top in the S&P at 9:47 a.m. That's a new high close and second high on the intra-minute swing. That was at 9:47 and 48. Here is the S&P, 9:47 and 9:48, making the perfect top as well. New swing high and new swing close on the S&P though. So they both gave you new highs, new intra-candle high and new close. Then we dip into 951. Here is Bitcoin dipping right into 953, little rally. And now we are starting to drop, but if we break out, Bitcoin will probably break out as well. So this is the insane correlation. So here's your breakout line on the S&P. So the break of this line probably creates significantly higher prices for the S&P. The same line could be drawn here in Bitcoin, that if the S&P breaks out above that line, I would anticipate if the S&P can break out above that line, I would expect Bitcoin to do the same. Now, Bitcoin's a lot less liquid. So let's see what happens. So here's the S&P breaking out above this line. Let's see if it holds. And Bitcoin hasn't traded in a few minutes. So let's see. Let's see what the next trade on Bitcoin is. Head and shoulders on the S&P 1 minute chart. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I can see that. Let's see. So at the moment, Bitcoin is dropping a little bit. S&P hasn't broken out yet. We are at 10 a.m., however. So at this point, I need to go back to the bigger time scale and look at the 10-minute chart. See, the 10-minute chart, yesterday, had I played the 10 a.m. reversal to the upside, it would have been a very, very profitable trade. I'm no longer in my S&P 500 short, by the way, so I'm not like time constrained. I took my exit. And I'm glad that I did and walked away with a bunch of profit. Contrary to what idiots on Twitter think. So here's the 10 a.m. area. We are at 10 a.m. now. I don't see enough for me to take the short trade mentally or in reality because we're working on a very bullish candle. I need to see weakness. So I gotta wait. I gotta wait and see if it's gonna swing to a new high before going down. I'm still a bear of the S&P 500. It still makes absolutely no sense to me why the value of S&P is so high when the US is about to shut down again because of COVID and the protests aren't getting any, well, the destruction of the protest isn't getting any better. So the destruction of private property with the protests ain't getting any better, and that's not good for society. Now, if this candle starts to turn down, then I have a clean stop loss. I technically already have a clean stop loss. And this is looking like a reversal candle. I do want this candle to fully end, though. See, the overnight swing highs are over there. So my stop loss is actually a little challenging here because I don't want to get stopped out on the same candle. So once again, I don't want to also give away my entire course during free videos. But there is a skill to proper entries and exits. So if I'm to take a short trade off of that red line, assuming we pop back to that red line, let's see if we do. We did. So let's assume I take the short trade. Off the red line. I don't actually have a stop loss yet. I'm waiting for the candle to end. I'm waiting for the candle to end so I can assess my risk. So 5 more minutes. So I am unprotected for 5 minutes. I'm going to stick a blue line here as the stop loss line, but I'm going to put it like up here somewhere. You know, just so it's there. But the point is to move that as low as possible once this candle ends and the next candle begins. Someone is asking, how bad of a hit did you take on your portfolio yesterday? The hit was in the it was in a 5-figure range, but the trade was still profitable. And decently profitable. But it just sucked to, you know, lose that amount just yesterday because of that move. One private group, not sure, probably soon. I wanted to do it like this week, but we're still working on like the back end of the database and stuff. So we still got 4 minutes to go. So I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna go take a look at Bitcoin. So here's the longer term view. And we're still in this consolidation zone going down. Someone is saying, how did you lose 5 figures and we're still profitable? Well, welcome to trading. Because I shorted here. And then I didn't take my exit here, which I was mad at. And then I doubled down over here. But I had very little time on my options. But it was a very high leverage position. And going through the weekend, getting close to option expiration, this move from down there to down here was substantial for me. But I was up quite a bit. So it's all in my retirement portfolio. It's not money I can spend anyway. It's money I can't touch for a good 20 plus years. I was heavily leveraged short, guys. I'm actually upset that it didn't go down enough. I was short from like here somewhere. I don't trade the condors, so I have no comment. I trade other stuff, but not the condors. So like I said, I'm not able to assess my risk until after this candle completes. Once this candle completes, I'm able to assess my risk on the trade. All trading is different. This is me looking to time a reversal at 10 a.m., which had I done it yesterday, would have worked out incredibly well. Because yesterday at 10 a.m., we had this. So me going short now is the equivalent of yesterday going long. Now, I didn't do this yesterday. Well, first of all, I didn't start the video till back here. Obviously, if you're going to put your entire account on this trade right now and you lose on that trade, you never trade again in your life because you may lose all your money. That's why you're supposed to only risk like 1% of your portfolio, which is what these courses are about. Risk, leverage, money management, position management. Oh, wait, I meant like, I guess it's too early for me. I didn't swing into 5 figures. Yesterday's loss was like 4 figures. I wasn't paying attention to that. I wasn't really paying much attention to my daily P&L. I just realized I said 5 figures. It was 4. It was in the high 4 figures. It sucked though. That's why I had to get off the stream and exit my trade, because I would be down 5 figures today if I didn't exit that trade. Like I said, it was highly leveraged. But I don't mind re-entering the short trade. But at this point, in order for me to exit the short trade, I would need to be back below the moving average. I was very confident yesterday morning that we were going to keep dropping. The reversal really caught me by surprise. It really, really did. I mean, the 10 a.m. reversal was something, but it just kept going and going and going. All right, now that this candle is over, I can now assess my risk. And you can see the current candle is going down. So here's my plan. For now, I'm going to leave the stop loss just above the overnight swing high. And if this candle closes back below the red line, I am then going to be lowering that stop loss to the 10 a.m. candles low, 10 a.m. candles high. And the goal is to get the stop loss just below the red line. That's the goal. So let's go back to Bitcoin. So I'm still looking for consolidation for the rest of the year, with this red line and the 10,000 area being very serious resistance. Here's the monthly chart, and the monthly chart ends today. The monthly chart ends today, and let's see what happens going into next week. Tone is short. I am not short. Like, do you guys even listen to what I say? I have no position in the S&P other than this mock trade. I don't actually have a position. I have a long position in gold. I'm still long gold. I'm long gold from like back here. But unlike those S&P options, I bought a shit ton of time in the gold options. So I have plenty of time. I don't have to worry about time decay. So here's the S&P weekly chart, and it's just basically following the S&P. Sorry, Bitcoin weekly chart. It's basically following the S&P 500. Like it's almost useless to be analyzing Bitcoin. It's just boring. It kind of broke out of this triangle, but it's all about the S&P 500. It's what is the S&P 500 doing on a short-term scale, on the intermediate-term scale, on the long-term scale. It almost doesn't matter. Like, I don't have to look at Bitcoin price anymore. I tend to look at the Bitcoin price, and that tells me what the S&P is doing, only because I don't like constantly watch the price of S&P on my cell phone, but I have the Bitcoin widgets that are always showing me the price of Bitcoin. So by looking at the price of Bitcoin, I know what the S&P did, but I know that the S&P is what's driving the price of Bitcoin. It's just not interesting. So here's the S&P on a 1-minute chart, and it once again wants to break out to new highs. And here is Bitcoin about to break this line if the S&P breaks to its new highs. Now, there might be a little exception here, because if this continues to go higher, what I would consider doing is I would trade it from this buy signal to its opposite sell signal, in which case I would consider doubling that position in a way that's breaking rule number 1, never double down losing positions. But there are also exceptions that I discuss in the in this course, not this course, in this course. Risk, leverage, money management, and positions. So the mock short trade is out of the money. Is losing at the moment. It's losing a little bit. It's 3060 to 3063. So it's not much. It's only $3 on 3 points on the S&P, which is not much for 2 contracts. That's about 300, I want to say. No, 150. For 2 contracts, every dollar is $100, so 300. That's on 2 futures contracts. I used to trade like 2 or 4 contracts when I was trading this style. It's kind of boring just watching it tick away. So maybe I'll take a look at some questions. Can you see a descending triangle forming on SPX on the daily? It's clear on the futures, 20 MA. Yeah, I can see it forming. You'll need one more swing high into the moving average here, the 20, and then come back, which is why I'm not in a rush to go short into the S&P 500 again. This is what I said earlier, that if I'm going to go short S&P 500 again, I would need to wait until it broke this line and both of those moving averages. So I would wait another week or so. We can rise and then we can turn. And then if we start breaking this moving average, if we start breaking that 200, then I can short again. That's basically the descending triangle nature, but it's too early. It's too early to draw it. It's way too early to draw it. Next question. Can you explain after making trading stocks versus regular hours? Can you explain after market trading stocks? Well, there's just no liquidity. I don't even know if you can trade stocks after hours. You can trade the futures after hours. I just don't like it. I like liquidity. I like liquid things. I want to trade Amazon. I don't want to trade, I don't know, some shit coin that has no liquidity. I like trading things that are liquid because for me, TA works best on things that are most liquid. All right, so I'm just gonna wait for this for my trade to be profitable. All we got to do is go below that red line. Normally, I like the breakout trades, but this is a reversal trade only because it was happening at 10 a.m. Otherwise, I wouldn't have taken it. I haven't looked at individual stocks in a while. You can look at the dollar too. The dollar is rising. I mean, I'm a dollar bull. You guys know that. I am a euro bear. So the euro is going down. Curious what the bonds are doing. Interest rate's pretty low. So how's TLT doing? I'm expecting TLT to make new highs, though that's going to be difficult. That's a huge swing. Beautiful bottom right there. Look at that. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. People are asking about my learning section. Yeah, so this webinar on technical analysis is going to be way more in depth than my other technical analysis stuff. And once I'm done with all the slides and the material, I will then update Learn Trading with the material I'm putting together for this workshop. It will be 6 hours of only TA, like no strategy, only TA. Like some strategy, but there's not going to be mock trading. This is education of technical analysis on its own. This is the education of how to actually trade. So you can learn technical analysis and have no idea what to do with it. You could also learn how to trade. You'll be in better position, but you kind of need to learn technical analysis, either on your own, in my free section, or whatever. So oh, wow. So stocks are going away. How's DraftKings doing? DraftKings pulled back. That was doing really well at 44. Yeah, Canaan is interesting to me. It's not much on a daily scale, but on a weekly scale, it's dropped quite a bit, dropped 86% from the opening of the IPO. And that could be a decent reversal coming up next week. I'll be watching it. Fake meat's doing well. How's Tesla doing? Wow, look at Tesla. Look at Tesla. Tesla's bullish to me. Very bullish. Amazon, very bullish. Google, not so much. Look at those perfect sell opportunities. Boom, boom. Netflix looks bullish. Facebook, not so much. Not as bullish as the others. Guys, there's no secrets. There's no private information here. Everything I use, you see on live air. There's no like, Tone has a private group. He must be sharing secrets that he doesn't share on his public YouTube channel. There aren't. Do you know how many people ask me for consulting? And my answer is, there is nothing you can ask me that you don't get for free on the public YouTube channel. Like, sure, I'll take my consulting rate's 0.1 Bitcoin. We can talk privately, but like, there's no secret information. It's not like I'm telling you guys, I think the market's going to go down, but then on a private call, I'm going to say the opposite. That's not how it works. So at this point, I have two choices. I can take my original stop loss by giving up on the 10 a.m. reversal, or I can wait for a 9 and double that trade. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet, so I'm leaving that stop loss. Ideally, I don't like highs and lows happening in after hours trading. I prefer them happening in live trading. So having the stop loss this close to the overnight high kind of sucks because it'll probably stop me out in about 3 seconds. But then I have one more shot at doing the opposite of what this candle did. Now, had this candle occurred during actual hours of trading, that would have been a nice buying opportunity for me, and I would have still been in the buy because I would have had no reason to sell at any point. Nothing there to the upside would have scared me other than my usual 10 a.m. reversal play, which doesn't work every time. If it worked every time, myself and many others would be trillionaires by now. Not how trading works. So I usually enter my trades with the option to double down, though I rarely do. It has to be a special situation. Yeah, yesterday's candle really sucked. Had I got out early in the morning, would have been a nice profitable trade. It was still profitable. It was still nicely profitable, but disappointing. When you get close to option expiration, every day is huge. I needed S&P to move like 15 points in my direction, 15 to 20 points in my direction to make up for my time decay. I didn't buy enough time, which is the first rule that I teach in my options course. But like I said, the trade was still profitable, so I shouldn't complain. The stop loss is still holding, so there's not that much to worry about, but this becomes a boring video of me sitting here watching the ticks, which is why I don't really trade. I have more interesting things to do. I'm not, trading doesn't like, doesn't do it for me anymore. To be honest, I wouldn't even be teaching trading, but that's all my views. Like 80% of my views is about trading. Like I'd rather do more law shows and more news shows and more Bitcoin shows. But the only way I can educate about Bitcoin is if people are watching the trading shows. Do you use Consensio like Tyler Jenks? On large timescales, I do. I don't use it on short time scales. Anything under 1 day, I don't use moving averages. So this is actually good. If this candle closes this week, then it's very easy for me to know exactly where my stop loss is. It's just above this candle. Because if we go back above this candle, this trade's over. So I actually really like this candle. Really like it. And this is also why it's important to stay patient as a trader. It's disappointing that my entry immediately swung into a losing trade. But I followed the plan. I put in a loose-ish stop loss using the overnight high. It's a stop loss that was never hit. Yeah. Still got 20 seconds to go in this candle, and then we see how the next candle goes. In case you've been, in case you're new to the channel and you're not sure who Tyler is, what you want to do is you want to go to YouTube and you want to go to Lucid Investments and check out this channel called Hyperwave. Unfortunately, Tyler Jenks passed away almost 1 year ago. So it's actually a few weeks from now. So Tyler Jenks passed away a few years ago. Probably one of the most impressive traders I've ever met in my life. So knowledgeable. He knew everything about technical analysis. Everything. He has studied every indicator, if that's possible, at least the ones that you have heard of. He studied them. And he probably studied them from their creators, if the indicator was created after 1970. Like he studied sequential from Larry Williams in 1980. I actually have his notes. So I would actually love to see this get to a 9 without hitting my line. That would be perfect. Again, we can sit here all day, just watch this because we can get stuck in this range. until it either stops me out or I go into a profitable trade. So the only unfortunate thing now is I'm so close to getting my sell signal, and it would suck if I get my sell signal as my stop loss gets hit. So this is where you need to make a judgment call between your style. My style of trading is conflicting with a very with my one of my favorite TA indicators, and you got to make a judgment call. What's more important, your style of trading and risk management, or your technical analysis? All things being equal, your style of trading and risk management should take priority. You always take the most conservative option when it comes to protecting your money. Hey, any other questions, guys? We're at 700 viewers, but it's a very boring podcast. How important is the Powell meeting today? I have no idea. I don't know. I stopped paying attention. I stopped paying attention. I haven't turned on the TV in months. Here's the 15-minute. Beautiful sell right here. Didn't give me a buy, but the support held. We broke resistance. So the 15-minute is actually not, is telling me that I'm an idiot and this is going way higher. Let's see what the 5-minute says. Uh, 5-minute isn't very helpful right now. We've been on for an hour, and this trade's getting us nowhere. So I'm sure Bitcoin isn't moving either because the S&P isn't moving. Oh, the Bitcoin caught up. So there's the line. That was the breakout line on a 1-minute chart. So the S&P broke that line on 10 at around, yeah, well, it took off here around 10:06, 10:07. The Bitcoin was lagging to the party because S&P 500 is the leader. So Bitcoin didn't break out until about 10:25. So Bitcoin was like 20 minutes behind. But now Bitcoin has caught up. So now it's all about what happened. What does the S&P do next? Does the S&P go to new highs? In which case Bitcoin will continue to rise. Or is the S&P going to pull back? In which case Bitcoin's going to pull back. I mean, I've been watching this relationship for weeks now, if not months. I'll definitely wait for this candle to end. I kind of want to sit here through 2 more candles and see how it plays out. But I have other shit to do. how do I expect the second wave of Corona to affect the markets? I expected the stock market to be like at 2,600 by now, but it hasn't. So I have no expectations. I'm going to trust technical analysis. And right now, technical analysis told me to stay out of the stock market. I was short. I caught the big drop. I did not take my profit. I missed it because it happened at like too quickly in the morning. I kept expecting it to pull back. It never did. Same thing here. Happened too early in the morning. I was on a live stream. I got off the live stream to get out of my trade. I actually got out at a really bad time in this candle. I got out up here closer to 30.50. So it wasn't good. That's why I lost extra money yesterday because I literally got out at a bad time yesterday. But today would have been worse. So I'm okay with it. I can see us rebounding, back to 31 and change and then going back down, but that could take weeks. Could take us weeks to go up and then come back down and then maybe go up again. The market may not break down until like September. We can consolidate here as well. Kind of want this trade to be profitable. I don't like doing live streams and having a losing trade. Makes me look bad. So we wait. So if S&P just dropped, let's see how Bitcoin did. Bitcoin is coming up on a little top right here. But Bitcoin's lagging. So if the stock market starts to drop hard here, so will Bitcoin. This is approximately where I entered that short, 30.60. So below this line, the short on the S&P becomes profitable. Oh, wow. I saw that C13 there for a second. Oh, also, I've been keeping an eye on a trader, TRDR. So I forgot to show it to you guys. So yesterday I was texting Joe Saz, asking him if he took this trade. I was asking him if he took the short trade above 9,200, and he did. He actually took did it 4 times. I don't know if they were 3 double downs or whatever, but it's legit. I saw it. He took his signal, was shorting this area here for his. It's short-term trading, and the thing yesterday that I didn't get to show you guys before I forget it altogether. I was with Joe when this was happening, but he didn't take the trade because we were just hanging out with people, and these were awesome buying opportunities for him based on his trading, but he didn't take the trade, and then we just watched it go from like 8,800 up to 9,100, which is a huge move for like 1 to 2 hour scalp. Yeah, so now that I have my trader station all set up, I'll be keeping an eye on it. It's more of a short-term trading, which I don't really do. I gotta play around with this on longer-term time frames, but the last 2 trades were just perfect. Oh, was looking good on that 7. So again, this is the dilemma. Is my risk management gonna win and I take the stop loss, or do I wait? Do I take off the stop loss and wait 15 more minutes for the TA to give me a reversal? There's no right choice. If you do them properly, they're both good. I'm going to take the stop loss if we touch it because I don't like the way this candle is acting. And we're now on a double top off of 10 minutes ago. So I'm going to trust risk management over TA, which is always the safer choice. Haven't hit that line yet. But once we do, I can always enter another short trade later. So this also means that Bitcoin is probably not going down. Yep, and Bitcoin just made a new swing high. So like I said, they're completely correlated down to the minute. Down to the minute. Now, you don't know, the stock market has been really volatile and you don't know what the next tick in the stock market will be. So it's not really a great mechanism to trade Bitcoin based on S&P. But hey, buying off of this green arrow right here, either S&P or Bitcoin would have served you really, really well because they both were reversed big time right off of this minute here. Well, it was more like here. I'm fully expecting this to hit the stop loss at this point. I'm not even optimistic that it's going to reverse. But if the scandal is coming to an end, I will drop the stop loss just for the next candle. And I will allow this to take place in the opposite direction. So I will give it a little extra leeway. If I don't get stopped out in the next 6 minutes, which I fully believe that I will. Like I said, I still think the S&P is going to go down and going to go down hard. But right now, I don't want to be in the short trade because we can easily bounce back to 31, which is not that far away, to be honest with you. We already moved, 60, 70 since yesterday morning, 70 since yesterday morning. So what's another 30 points at this point? But I couldn't wait that long because if we would have gotten all the way to here, I am now in a serious losing position on my trade. And I had to get out of my trade with a winning position. So again, boring video. You're watching ticks because the market is more like consolidating, not moving. I took my usual 10 a.m. reversal, which I've traded hundreds of times. Obviously, it can't work out every time, but it worked out more often than it didn't. And let's see if it still can, because technically it still can work out. We missed the stop loss by a few ticks. People are asking me about this indicator and what does it work best on? It works best on weekly, and then it works, and then next best is daily, and then next best is hourly. It's more important than a higher level time frame. It's just that I can't be doing YouTube videos trading the weekly time frame, right? We'll be sitting here forever. So I'm on a 10-minute time frame. Someone's saying gold's breaking out. Let's see. Nice. I'm long gold. I have a leverage position long gold. That's been working nicely. Again, I only trade in my retirement accounts now. I don't trade in my traditional. I close my traditional account. I can always open it back up, but I only trade my retirement account. I like the tax benefits. All right, 3 minutes to go. And I'm going to get stopped out, unfortunately. There it is. So yeah, so this is the toss-up between trusting TA and trusting where your risk management is supposed to be. See, that was a 0.3% move and only 9 points on the S&P. So I'll take that. The market's pretty volatile. Back when I used to trade this strategy, I never used to risk more than 5 points. But obviously, and ideally, I only wanted to risk like 3 points. But different times. Way more volatile market. So today, the timing of the trade wasn't clockwise, though 11 a.m. is also good. It was more indicator-wise. So like I said, I was debating moving the stop loss up and letting the next candle play out. I would have done it if I did not get stopped out on this candle itself. So if the move past this blue line would have been 2 minutes from now, I would have moved the line up and I would have let the next candle play out, because the next candle is going to give me a nice fat red arrow to the downside. After you close your position, we'll go into free fall. Possible. It's happened to me many, many times. Do you ever take long-term positions in the indices? I do, but I don't have any long-term positions at the moment because I don't like the structure of the. I don't like the current environment. I have Bitcoin as my only long-term position right now, but yeah, I have taken long-term positions on indices. I can always try to short again. I just want to see what the next candle looks like, but I also don't want to be here another 15 minutes. Why am I shorting the market? Because TA is telling me that the trade is to the downside. This is the structure of a top. I was long the market here mostly, but this is where I started to short the market. And then this trade failed, so I shorted again. That trade worked, but then it didn't work. And then I shorted again and that worked. And then it was starting to fail on me, so I got out. So there it is. So I want to see what the structure of this candle looks like. And I would consider another short. I just want defined risk. But I would wait for this candle to come mostly to an end. It would kind of suck if this candle just crashes, because then I wouldn't be in the short trade. But it depends on what this candle looks like. And right now, it's only like 30 seconds into a 10-minute candle. I need at least like 2/3 of this candle to go through based on time. You see, that's why I trusted my stop loss, because now it would be a bigger losing position. Same reason why I got out on my stop loss yesterday. Stop losses are really important. Otherwise, your short-term trade becomes a long-term hold in the wrong direction. So this could actually give me one more shot at shorting way higher, but not yet. My problem now is I don't know where to set the stop loss. So I almost have to wait for this candle to end to give me the swing high. Bitcoin's probably breaking out too because the S&P keeps rising. Well, Bitcoin pulled back a little bit, but there it goes. There it goes on the breakout. S&P is breaking out, Bitcoin's breaking out. They're not perfect, but hey, they both broke this red line. That was the red line I was talking about this morning. And Bitcoin pulled back, S&P pulled back, and now S&P is flying to the moon, and so is Bitcoin. Completely correlated on all time frames. I guarantee you there'll be a dozen articles tomorrow about Bitcoin's correlation with the S&P. I wake up every morning, there's like 5 articles written that have quoted me from my videos. So the candle's not even halfway through time. I'm starting to get a decent stop loss, but again, if you're entering on the candle itself, you have to wait for the candle to close. So the trade this morning was, buy on this arrow, take your profit on this one. Would have been an amazing trade. But like I said, I don't trade pre-market. That's a 1% move, 30 points. 30 points. Huge. See, I'd rather short again at a lower price than where I was, let's say even here, because the problem is if you remove the stop loss and then you panic, you can panic right at the high and then you lose more money. So I do want to wait for 2/3 of this candle to go through. Look, I don't know why they're correlated. I don't know where the money comes from. I'm just telling you that there is clear correlation down to the minute. That's all I can say. Like, I don't have reasons for it. I'm just showing you the relationship. If that relationship is important to you, you need to investigate where the money is. I don't have that ability, nor the time, nor do I care all that much. So I have very clear defined risk right now. And it's here. So once we are down to under 3 minutes in this candle, I can go ahead and try the short trade one more. I'm not going to go long on this. So my only option is to go short. And that's my risk. That's not going to get moved no matter what. So now we're under 3 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and put it right here. There you go. So if that's a short trade, look at how tiny your risk is. That's the goal. That's the goal. That's what I was hoping for at 10 a.m., but I didn't have that opportunity. So I should have just stayed patient. I didn't think this video would last this long. That's good risk. That's clean risk. That stop loss is not moving, no matter what. There's no, I mean, normally I don't like putting stop losses on the same candle I'm entering, but there's 2 minutes to go out of 10. So that stop loss ain't moving. That's 0.1% of the asset in risk. That's kind of what you want. I don't have a target. I just have risk. One minute to go. And if this stops me out, then it's just not my day. Then I'll just, do something else with my day and come back and trade tomorrow. But this is defined risk. Like I said, I hate it when I get stopped out on the candle itself, which is why I like waiting till the end of the candle. But if it happens, it happens. But you barely lose anything in this case. So there it is. So like I said, I hate it when that happens, but it happens. And I can do this all day because I'm not going to get wrecked by getting stopped out 5 times in a day as a day trade. So this thing can certainly go higher now. Like I said, I prefer to wait till end of candle. So if I had done the exact same thing, but waited till end of candle, it would obviously still be the same entry-ish. But my risk would be 1 tick higher because it hit it by a tick. But it's the same concept, right? You have well-defined risk and you have a plan. The problem comes in is that most traders remove this and then they come back at the end of the week and the market is at 4,000 and now they're broke. That's the problem. That's what destroys most traders. You become a long-term holder when you can't admit that you're wrong. It's the biggest downfall of every trader. All right, I got to get going. I can't believe I already spent this much time on it. But good luck, guys. This has not been great for me trying to time the reversals. But hey, it's one of those days. I've done really well on other videos doing the exact same thing. I will always stick to my rules. This will probably turn the market down right now, but knowing and properly playing it are, of course, different skill sets. All right, guys, This is the TA skill set, and this is the risk management skill set. When they both align, amazing things can happen. But when they conflict, it becomes very difficult to trade. All right, guys, I'll talk to you all on the next one. Bye, guys.